3 smart cooking ideas from Grandma. Test baking powder freshness. While flour, sugar, and eggs get a lot of attention, the unassuming baking powder often holds the key to success, particularly when it comes to achieving that light, airy texture we all crave in cakes, muffins, and biscuits. But how do you know if your baking powder is still up to the task? It doesn't have a sell-by date that guarantees its effectiveness, and relying on an old container can lead to flat, dense, and ultimately disappointing results. That's where a simple, time-tested Grandma hack comes in: the hot water test. This isn't a complicated procedure requiring special equipment. All you need is a teaspoon of baking powder and a small bowl of hot, not boiling, water. Simply add the teaspoon of baking powder to the hot water and observe. If the mixture immediately begins to bubble vigorously, fizzing and frothing with energy, then your baking powder is fresh and ready to use. This bubbling action is a clear indication that the chemical reaction between the baking soda and acid within the baking powder is still active. But what does this reaction mean? Baking powder is a complete leavening agent, meaning it contains both an acid and a base, baking soda, that react when moistened and heated, releasing carbon dioxide gas. This gas creates bubbles within the batter, causing it to rise. If the baking powder is stale, that reaction is diminished or non-existent, resulting in a lack of lift and a heavy, undesirable texture. Ignoring this simple test can be a costly mistake. Imagine spending time and money on quality ingredients, carefully following a recipe, only to end up with a cake that resembles a brick. The hot water test is a preventative measure, a quick and easy way to ensure your efforts won't be in vain. This test isn't just about avoiding a baking disaster. It's about understanding the science behind your recipes. It empowers you to take control of the process and troubleshoot potential issues before they arise. It's a lesson in paying attention to the details, a hallmark of experienced bakers. Furthermore, this method is incredibly economical. This saves you money in the long run by preventing wasted ingredients and the need to repurchase them. So, before you embark on your next baking adventure, take a moment to perform this simple test. It's a small step that can make a world of difference, ensuring that your cakes rise beautifully, your muffins are light and fluffy, and your biscuits are tender and delicious. Grate off burnt cookie bottoms. The aroma of freshly baked cookies is one of life's simple joys. But that joy can quickly turn to disappointment when you pull a tray from the oven and discover the bottoms are, well, a little too golden. A slight burn on cookies is a common baking mishap, often caused by uneven oven temperatures, a dark baking sheet, or simply a few extra minutes left in the heat. The instinct is often to toss the whole batch, deeming them ruined. But before you resign yourself to cookie-less despair, remember a clever trick passed down through generations. Carefully grate off the burnt bottoms. This isn't about masking the burnt flavor. It's about removing the source of it. That charred layer, while small, carries a distinctly bitter taste that can ruin an otherwise perfect cookie. The rest of the cookie, however, is likely still soft, chewy, and full of delicious flavor. Why waste all that effort and those precious ingredients over a minor mistake? The key to success with this technique lies in the right tool and a gentle hand. You'll need a fine grater. The kind you'd use for nutmeg or Parmesan cheese works perfectly. Avoid using a coarse grater, as it will remove too much of the cookie and create a messy, uneven surface. Hold the cookie firmly, but not tightly, and gently glide the grater across the bottom, removing only the blackened portion. Work slowly and carefully, checking your progress frequently. You want to remove just enough to eliminate the burnt taste, without sacrificing too much of the cookie itself. This method is particularly effective for cookies that have a relatively thick bottom, like chocolate chip cookies or peanut butter cookies. Thinner cookies, like shortbread, might be more challenging to salvage, but it's still worth a try. The goal isn't to achieve a perfectly smooth bottom. A slightly textured surface is perfectly acceptable. Beyond saving your cookies, this hack embodies a spirit of resourcefulness and minimizing food waste. In a world increasingly conscious of sustainability, it's a valuable lesson to learn. to find creative solutions to common kitchen problems instead of simply discarding perfectly good food. This technique also offers a subtle baking lesson. Paying attention to why the cookies burned in the first place can help you prevent it from happening again. Was the oven temperature too high? Did you leave them in for too long? Was your baking sheet too dark? Identifying the cause will make you a more confident and skilled baker. So, the next time you encounter slightly burnt cookies, don't despair. Reach for the fine grater, embrace this grandma-approved trick, and transform a baking mishap into a small victory. You'll not only save your cookies, but also learn a valuable lesson in kitchen resourcefulness and the art of making the most of what you have. Ripen bananas in a paper bag. The plight of the green banana is a familiar one to bakers and smoothie enthusiasts alike. Waiting days for them to naturally ripen can disrupt your plans and leave you craving the banana bread or creamy smoothie. Fortunately, a simple, time-honored trick passed down through generations offers a solution: the paper bag and apple method. This isn't some modern culinary invention. It's a clever application of plant biology. Bananas, like many fruits, release a natural gas called ethylene. Ethylene is a plant hormone that triggers the ripening process. It softens the fruit, develops its sweetness, and transforms its color from green to yellow. However, bananas don't release a lot of ethylene on their own. That's where the apple comes in. Apples are particularly prolific ethylene producers. By enclosing bananas and an apple together in a paper bag, you create a concentrated environment of this ripening gas. The bag traps the ethylene, accelerating the process significantly. It's like giving the bananas a little nudge, telling them it's time to get ripe. The choice of a paper bag is crucial. Plastic bags are impermeable to ethylene, meaning the gas can't circulate and do its work. Paper bags, on the other hand, allow for some airflow while still trapping enough ethylene to create a noticeable effect. Think of it as a controlled, ripening chamber. To put this hack into practice, simply place your green bananas and one apple. Any variety will do, but some find that apples like Gala or Fuji work particularly well into a paper bag. Fold the top of the bag loosely closed. You don't want to seal it completely, as some air circulation is still beneficial. Then, let the bag sit at room temperature. How long will it take? That depends on how green the bananas are to begin with. Generally, you can expect to see a noticeable difference within 24 to 48 hours. Check the bananas periodically and remove the apple once they've reached your desired level of ripeness. Leaving the apple in for too long could result in overripe bananas, which are fine for some applications, like very moist banana bread, but not ideal for everything. This method isn't just about convenience, it's about reducing food waste. How many times have you bought bananas with the best intentions, only to have them turn brown before you had a chance to use them? By proactively ripening them when you need them, you're less likely to end up with a bunch of overripe, unusable fruit. Thank you so much for watching. We truly appreciate your support and hope you found the content helpful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing videos. See you next time.